One time, way back years ago, there was a boy named Jack. He and his folk lived off in the mountains, and they were real poor, didn't have a thing. Now Jack was real lazy sometimes, wouldn't do a lick of work. Jack's mother and his daddy tried to get him to help out, but they couldn't do a thing with him when he took a lazy spell, but they kept trying. One cold December morning, Jack's daddy stood beside Jack in the yard. He looked down at some rabbit tracks, looked at Jack and said, "Son, at the end of them tracks is your breakfast." Jack went and got his old single barrel and the 2 shells he had and started out. He followed the tracks around the hill a piece when he started to get kind of tired and decided to take a rest. He heard a fluttering sound above him and looked up, and there were 9 wild turkeys landing on the tree limb of a big sweet gum. "Can't pass them up," said Jack, and fired away. He was so close he split the tree limb, and the turkeys got their toes caught in the crack, and they beat each other to death, fluttering their wings. All Jack had to do was climb on up and get them. "Well, I got 9 turkeys, but I still don't have that rabbit," said Jack. So he walked on, and he followed the tracks down the hill. "Whoa," said Jack, as a big old grizzly bear and a wild boar came tumbling towards him, fighting to the death. Jack didn't think he stood a chance, so he just threw his gun on the ground, shut his eyes, and put his arms out to protect himself. Well, the bear ran right straight into one of them, and Jack's hand went down its throat and out the other side. So Jack grabbed its tail and turned it inside out. When the boar saw there wasn't anything else to fight, he started butting Jack from behind with his 6-inch tusks. And Jack got so tired of landing flat on his rear that he gave up and hid behind a tree. But the boar kept coming, and the boar rammed its 6-inch tusks into the 5-inch tree. So Jack bent down, picked up a rock, and bashed it in. "You're caught," said Jack. "Now I got 9 turkeys and 2 flavors of the big game, but I still don't have that rabbit." So Jack walked on, and he followed the tracks down to the creek. And Jack looked up the creek, and there, flying close together, were 9 wild ducks. And Jack looked down the creek. "Whoa," he said, "there's 9 wild geese." But then Jack heard a buzzing sound, so he turned around and he stood face to face with a coiled up rattlesnake. He didn't have a second to think, so he just fired away. And Jack's old gun blew right up. The barrel went up the creek and killed the 9 wild ducks. The stock went down the creek and killed the 9 wild geese. And the bullet ricocheted off a stone and hit the rattlesnake right between the eyes. And the kick sent Jack flying head over heels backward right into the creek. "Whoa," said Jack, wiping his eyes. "Now there's that darn rabbit." So Jack paddled out of the cold water onto the land. But he couldn't hardly move because his pockets were so full of fish. And the weight of the fish made a button pop off his overalls. "Whoa," said Jack as he watched the button fly through the air and kill the rabbit. So Jack took the rabbit and the fish and the rattlesnake and the geese and the ducks and the boar and the bear and the turkeys and went on home and cooked himself breakfast. And the last time I saw him, he was a-doing real well.